Hi, my name's Martin and I've been a volunteer at Doorway for it's over 3.5 years now. It was in about August of 2009 that I started up. And I got involved with Doorway in the first place really because I'd been really pretty unwell and I was off work from my normal work, which in fact is as a GP. And I was getting well enough to want to be doing something with my time, and I knew through a friend who had volunteered here, I was aware of the existence of Doorway, and it sounded interesting. I know that I like people contact, and it seemed like a good stepping stone back, you know, on the way to getting back towards full health and towards getting back to, if you like, the day job. And it's in a very short distance walk from my home, so it had that advantage as well. And so I started in it reasonably gently, one session, drop-in session a week, and ended up doing both drop-in sessions most weeks. And now the fourth, because I'm actually back almost full-time doing the GP work, I do much less of the drop-in sessions. I have other involvements with Doorway because we set up the revival of the football project, so I'm involved with that, which is how I broke my wrist. And I'm also the editor of the Doorway blog site. I'll get back to that. Now, if I talk about those first, actually, because I'm going to go back to what Doorway in general has done for me. The football project, really enjoy, and that's once a week. We have a session that lasts for about an hour. One of the local churches, Ladyfield, is kind enough to give us their sports hall for a very nominal charge, and there's a bit of general fitness work, and then we play a competitive game. We have gone out and we've played in tournaments, which details are available on the blog site in our rather fetching pink kit. With some slight stumbling block with tournaments in that many of them will not allow mixed teams, and we have really enthusiastic female players, and that's an ongoing frustration. But we all have a really, really good time when we're not breaking our wrists, but that's just me. And I guess that's one thing I've had out of Doorway, is been a channel for getting the physical side of things much better. And seeing the progress with the guests with that as well, because it gives, the football gives them a focus, it gives them, for the ones who have substance abuse problems, it gives them a reason not to use that day. I've actually heard it said by people, that I won't drink today because I'll be playing football later. And it makes them feel good about themselves, and it is literally the level playing field. When you're on the pitch, you're just a player. All the background stuff, all the differences between people, whether you've got a roof over your head or not, whether you've got a substance abuse problem or not, all that sort of stuff is not relevant. All that's relevant is out there, and it encourages teamwork and turning up for things, and it's great from that point of view. The blog site I'm editor of, and that's doorwayproject.wordpress.com, and we do put stuff on there that's written by Lisa, that's written by myself, written by volunteers, but the key thing is really to try and encourage the guests themselves to actually be putting stuff on there, and we'd still like to beef that up a lot more than we have been able to up to now. But we had a terrific series of articles on there by one of the guests about his personal battles, his descent into the depths of alcoholism, loss of house, loss of everything, and how much Doorway helped him back on the road to recovery in all its respects. And they were in tremendous articles, led to him doing stuff on the radio about it, and which not only raised awareness of Doorway and of the problems of the guests at Doorway, but it was clearly from some of the feedback that was received, there were people out there listening who had problems who had nothing to do with Doorway, but were getting tremendous strength from it, and you can't measure easily the value of those outcomes. What do I get out of Doorway, and what do I think the guests get out of Doorway? I mean, one of the things that the Doorway shows you, even if you sort of know it, and I knew it a fair bit from the day job, because obviously as a GP you see all sorts of stuff, But it's just this thing that, you know, the guests here are human beings like any other human beings who have hit, for whatever reason, a certain set of circumstances and problems. But, you know, there are similarities, but there are differences, and everybody's got their own story. And any one of us could, through a different set of circumstances, have been, you know, on their side of things rather than ours. And I guess that most of the people, you know, the ethos of Doorway is that we see that everybody in the building is equal, and that includes, you know, staff and volunteers. And it's something that a guy called Mark Horvath, who came to visit, who is active in homeless activism in LA, and he came over. We were the only non-London project that he visited, and Lisa and myself got to know him through social media. And he commented on how he goes into so many, most other projects, all other projects, and finds that, you know, maybe the volunteers are eating, but they're eating at separate tables, and the guests, who aren't called guests, they're probably called service users or whatever, are elsewhere. And here everybody is mix and match alike, and you know, that is great. When I first started working with Doorway, I came downtown with my younger daughter, and she said to me, she said, "Well, who are these people you're helping at Doorway?" She says, "I don't really know people that are like that in Chippenham. I don't see people who have got problems like that, not like you do in cities." And I said, "Well, actually, not that I'd known it before I started working here, but we just walked past 6 of them on the way down here." And yeah, that made us stop and think a bit, you know, because it's there, it's just hidden. So I've learned so much about human nature. I've learned so much about practical ways of helping people, and a lot of which has helped me enormously in my day job. You know, I think I've developed certain skills on those fronts, which has definitely made me better at what I do there. But generally speaking, actually, what I'm mostly glad of it, I do enjoy being here. You know, it doesn't feel like a chore to be here. It doesn't feel like I'm doing something worthy and giving of my time. And, you know, people say that sometimes. They say, "Well, aren't you good to actually sort of give your time up?" I enjoy it. It's not a hardship. I get here to actually mix with people who I enjoy mixing with. I want to see how people are getting on. I want to be here. You know, I mean, to come here now actually is quite a degree of hassle to get here, to get clear of work to get here. And I feel guilty. I'm a bit late, but I love being here, and it doesn't even strike me that it's any sort of burden. It's a joy to be here. And I've met a lot of really good people through here. You know, guests, volunteers, staff alike, and you know, more power to its elbow, and you know, long may it continue. And I wish every town had the equivalent of somewhere like Doorway to be doing this sort of function. Because apart from anything else, nobody out there knows when they might need this sort of thing. That's me.